PSE index went up from 6,633.22 last August 20, 2021, to 6,786.62 this August 27, 2021. This performance is equivalent to a 2.31% increase in the index for the week. Our magical stocks also went up from 633.13k pesos to 657.54k pesos, or a 3.86% increase in our investment. Overall, our magical stocks profit went up from 32.31k pesos to 56.73k pesos. We will update the 4 batches of magical stocks together with the 7 experimental magical stocks for this week's video. Before we proceed with our update, and if you are interested in investing using our magical stocks or monitoring our system's effectiveness, please like this channel, subscribe and hit the notification button to keep you updated weekly. We sold our 3rd magical stock last week. Globe has a rally last week. It went up from 1960 pesos per share to 2,848 pesos per share, or a 45.31% increase. Our selling target is between 2,250 to 2,500 per share. We sold it at 2,700 pesos per share last August 26, 2021, which is above our maximum target. We gained 45.11%, or around 16,938.3 pesos. This includes the dividend payment we received. So far, we have already sold 3 stocks, gaining all above 30%. Realized profit currently holds at 43%. Let's first discuss the November experimental magical stocks performance from August 20, 2021, to August 27, 2021. Here is our worksheet for our November experimental stocks. Our top performer is DMC, gaining 16.94%, while the least performer is LTG, losing -34.64%. We have 2 sell signal in our 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the trend which we started to monitor last November 20, 2020. The PSE index went up from -7.48% to -5.34%, gaining 2.14%. The experimental magical stocks also went up from -10.83% to -9.8%, gaining 1.03%. The experiment is below the benchmark line, while the index is also below the benchmark line. Our experiment is below the index with a gap of -4.46% this August 27, 2021, coming from -3.35% last August 20, 2021. Let's now discuss the December experimental magical stocks performance from August 20, 2021, to August 27, 2021. Here is our worksheet for our December experimental stocks. Our top performer is DMC, gaining 7.1%, while the least performer is LTG, losing -35.4%. We have 1 sell signal in our 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiment's trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting December 18, 2020. The PSE index went up from -8.79% to -6.68%, gaining 2.11%. The experimental magical stocks also went up from -9.25% to -5.99%, gaining 3.27%. The experiment is below the benchmark line, while the index is also below the benchmark line. Our experiment is above the index with a gap of 0.7% this August 27, 2021, coming from -0.46% last August 20, 2021. Let's now discuss the February experimental magical stocks performance from August 20, 2021, to August 27, 2021. Here is our worksheet for our February experimental stocks. Our top performer is SCC, gaining 30.13%, while the least performer is VLL, losing -17.73%. We have 1 sell signal in our 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiment's trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting February 19, 2021. The PSE index went up from -4.23% to -2.02%, gaining 2.21%. The experimental magical stocks also went up from -1.34% to -0.52%, gaining 0.82%. The experiment is below the benchmark line, while the index is also below the benchmark line. Our experiment is above the index with a gap of 1.5% this August 27, 2021, coming from 2.9% last August 20, 2021. Let's now discuss the March experimental magical stocks performance from August 20, 2021, to August 27, 2021. Here is our worksheet for our March experimental stocks. Our top performer is DMC gaining 29.8%, while the least performer is FGen losing -4.07%. We still don't have any sell signal for each of the 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiments trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting March 19, 2021. The PSE index went up from 3.06% to 5.45%, gaining 2.38%. The experimental magical stocks also went up from 4.78% to 11.23%, gaining 6.45%. The experiment is above the benchmark line, while the index is also above the benchmark line. Our experiment is above the index with a gap of 5.78% this August 27, 2021, coming from 1.72% last August 20, 2021. Let's now discuss the May experimental magical stocks performance from August 20, 2021, to August 27, 2021. Here is our worksheet for our May experimental stocks. Our top performer is AEV gaining 15.97%, while the least performer is MEG but gaining 2.45%. We still don't have any sell signal for each of the 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiments trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting May 21, 2021. The PSE index went up from 7% to 9.47%, gaining 2.47%. The experimental magical stocks also went up from 4.78% to 8.73%, gaining 3.94%. The experiment is above the benchmark line, while the index is also above the benchmark line. Our experiment is below the index with a gap of -0.75% this August 27, 2021, coming from -2.22% last August 20, 2021. Let's now discuss the June experimental magical stocks performance from August 20, 2021, to August 27, 2021. Here is our worksheet for our June experimental stocks. Our top performer is TEL gaining 16.34%, while the least performer is MEG losing -5.79%. We still don't have any sell signal for each of the 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiments trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting June 18, 2021. The PSE index went up from -3.18% to -0.95%, gaining 2.24%. The experimental magical stocks also went up from -2.64% to 2.48%, gaining 5.11%. The experiment is above the benchmark line, while the index is below the benchmark line. Our experiment is above the index with a gap of 3.42% this August 27, 2021, coming from 0.55% last August 20, 2021. Let's now discuss the August experimental magical stocks performance from August 20, 2021, to August 27, 2021. Here is our worksheet for our August experimental stocks. Our top performer is MWC gaining 3.11%, while the least performer is LTG losing -3.13%. We still don't have any sell signal for each of the 5 experimental stocks. Let's look at the experiments trend, which we compare against the PSE index starting August 20, 2021. The PSE index went up from 0% to 2.31%, gaining 2.31%. The experimental magical stocks also went up from 0% to 0.27%, gaining 0.27%. The experiment is above the benchmark line, while the index is also above the benchmark line. Our experiment is below the index with a gap of -2.04% this August 27, 2021, coming from 0% last August 20, 2021. Here is the worksheet for our 4 batches of magical stocks. Our top performer is GLOW gaining 45.31%, while the least performer is SECB losing -3.5%. We have one sell signal for our magical stocks. Our first batch is above the market with a gap of 14.58% this August 27, 2021, coming from 15.69% last August 20, 2021. Our second batch is above the market with a gap of 8.33% this August 27, 2021, coming from 6.49% last August 20, 2021. Our third batch is above the market with a gap of 3.03% this August 27, 2021, coming from -1.11% last August 20, 2021. Our fourth batch is below the market with a gap of -1.28% this August 27, 2021, coming from -2.55% last August 20, 2021. To summarize our investment, the first batch of magical stocks is gaining by 28.86%, coming from 27.4%. The second batch is gaining by 2.55%, coming from -1.43%. The third batch is gaining by 8.82%, coming from 2.28%. The fourth batch is losing by -3.12%, coming from -6.61%. Overall, with an investment of 600.82k pesos, our investment's current value is 657.54k pesos, equivalent to 9.44% coming from 5.38%. We have a gaining first batch, a gaining second batch, a gaining third batch and a losing fourth batch. That will be all for the Magical Stocks update this week. Thank you for watching. Next week, we will continue updating the 4 batches of magical stocks and the 7 experimental stocks. Quote, I always define my risk, and I don't have to worry about it. Unquote. Tony Saliba. See you in the following video, have a great day ahead.